Welcome to Season 2 of Heart of the Gulch YouTube show. On this episode, we sit down with the Rustler Hat Company's General Manager, Stormi Leonard. We talk all things Texas and, of course, custom hats. Check out Rustlers Hat Company, located in the heart of the Gulch. And if you like the content that we provide, please subscribe and like this video. Let's get on to the episode. We are in the heart of the Gulch. My name is Tony Mendoza, your host, and today we got an amazing company. Not only just an amazing company, they are our neighbors practically in the heart of the Gulch. Not only that, this company, you can get amazing hats, custom hats, pre-made hats, ready to order hats. And one thing is, they don't only serve to the stars of Nashville, they serve it to like your boy here. That's just a regular somebody here in Nashville as well. We're talking to the general manager, Stormi Leonard, and the Rustler Hat Company in the building. How you doing, Stormi?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, man. I'm happy to have you guys here. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come here to the heart of the Gulch where you're at, right?
Yeah, literally just right down the street. I was at the store right before this. Took me like 3 minutes to go down 12th Avenue. But, you know, it would be a little bit quicker if there wasn't as much construction, but quick enough.
And that's the one thing I'm learning a lot is that the construction here, I've been here for 3 years. And half of the stuff around us, we're not going to say exactly where the studio is, but we're definitely, half of these roads weren't blocked off. I know you must have an issue sometimes getting to the store because I don't know why, but that street, what is that street that goes right down the heart of the Gulch?
11th Avenue.
Sometimes it is blocked off.
Yeah, it's blocked off, and it's every major marathon's favorite trail to run. Oh, my
goodness.
So we love when the marathon comes through.
Well, you know, I love the marathon, too, and everything, but, you know, when it comes down to all the busyness, it's a little too busy. Well, it's great to have you on. I want to learn a little bit about you, a little bit about your journey, and then let's talk about the Rustler that way. So you said you've been here for 1 year.
Yes, a little over a year and a half. I came in July of 2021. Mm-hmm. Loved it every second that I've been here. I knew growing up I wanted to be in Nashville. I came out and visited a college and didn't end up going, but I knew that at some point I was going to be in Nashville. And 7 years after my first visit, here I am, made it home.
What area were you originally from?
I'm from Texas, so I grew up in a small town northwest of Fort Worth. It's called Decatur, home of some famous cowboys. So I've been around the country scene. Mm-hmm. My family has cows. I've ridden horses growing up. I'm personally not that country, but my family can be.
Well, I can tell you. So I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
And there's a big difference between San Antonio, the city life, from where you're over there. And it's Fort Worth is one of my favorite towns. Not only because, so for the people that are watching this that are from Nashville, Fort Worth is let's just call it the little sister of Dallas. Mm-hmm. And then within Fort Worth, there are the stockyards. I know it sounds so cheesy that I'm talking about the stockyards, but for the people that don't know, the stockyards is basically, do they call it the home of the cowboy there or no?
It is. I mean, they literally still run cattle through
they run cattle,
the middle of the stackyards.
Yes, they run cattle through the middle of the stackyards, and it's just it's a vibe. Let's just put it that way. So, but where you're saying is how far from the immediate area from Fort Worth?
I'm right at about 40 minutes out northwest of that. So not horrible, but still like close enough that if my family wants to go to a nice dinner or we want to go do shopping, we'll always go to Fort Worth.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, talk about, when you transitioned into Nashville, did you originally start with the Rustler Hat Company?
Yes, Rustler is actually the reason I came to Nashville. Due to some connections through volleyball, which I played in college, I was able to get connected to the owner, my now boss, and we did a quick little intro interview over the phone, and then I interviewed over FaceTime with another owner, and Then I visited in the middle of June, early June, and that weekend,
right at the peak.
Yeah, right when everything was bustling around here. Luckily, our store hadn't been finished yet, so I got to kind of see the very beginning stages of construction when I was on my interview, and then got to see it through before we opened. But I came out, interviewed, and the next week I said, "Yep, I'm coming," and I moved out here in July, and haven't been back much since.
Well, I mean that. Hey, shout out to that. That means that Nashville is keeping you here. And I believe the owner that you originally talked to, is it Alex?
Yes, Alex Samuels is our owner. She's a fantastic businesswoman. Obviously saw the perfect opportunity to introduce Rustler at the right time, and we have been booming ever since.
I mean, seriously. So so for you guys know that are not in Nashville, in Texas, where we're from. So the Rustler is in location of the Gulch, and it's not only in the Gulch, it's in the heart of the Gulch, literally, like us. But the difference is that you're right across the street from Biscuit Love.
Yep.
So, and you see a massive line, probably even daily, maybe not Monday, Tuesday, but you see it once it comes to Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's backed up. I mean, even if it's raining, snowing, anything, they've always got a line.
They give out
umbrellas when it's hot and when it's raining.
Oh, and then and so I'm trying to picture it for you guys. So then also outside of that area, you have Milk and Honey.
Yep.
Another line out the door. But I don't know if you know this. Do you know the secret about getting into the Milk and Honey without having to deal with the crowd?
I do not. You're going to have to tell me.
I will tell you right now. So, and I'll let everyone else who's watching this know. The way to do it is you see the line, and then you go in the doors. The doors look like it's the 4 doors that open up. Mm-hmm. The Milk and Honey has a takeout door, okay, right on the side. So the crowd's going this way. The takeout door is right here. You go into the takeout door. You pass the line. You go to the host. You say, "Hey, is a bar seat open?" Say, "Yeah, it's open seating." And you go in. The thing is, when people are waiting in line, they don't know yet that it's open seating at the bar. So that, it's not a good thing to say. But
I'm gonna have to use that next time I go there, because even in the middle of the week, that place still has a wait list.
Well, I mean, talk about a wait list. Talk about you guys. I mean, all right. So do you remember Alex's original dream and her passion for building this brand?
So her passion is literally business. She is one of the most business savvy people I've ever met in my life. And so it's been a great mentor to have on that side, because I've never seen someone create, like from the beginning stages, create a business, see it out to fruition and see it grow this quickly and be as successful as it is. And so she had seen some hat stores and thought, wow, we don't have one of those in Nashville. Why don't we? We're one of the biggest, if not the largest, tourist destinations in the U.S., maybe partly in the world right now. And so she's like, I can do that. Like, I can create this. And immediately when she decided that, and got with a partner, they found a space that day, which happened to be in the heart of the Gulch. Our location is prime time. You really
right next to the Thompson Hotel. Shout out to the Thompson too, because I love me some LA Jackson, by the way.
Yeah, one of our favorite post-work stops.
Oh, absolutely. I would only imagine. What about when she was developing this brand, when she was going through all this business, right? I mean, what really got her eye for cowboy hats, and just hats in general? Because you know this, coming by the area where there's nothing but amazing cowboy hats, you know a good one when you see one. And I can tell you right now, the Rustler is the best in Nashville that I have seen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what got her inspired about hats?
I want to say just knowing that there was a need. You look at bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, tourists, everyone's buying some kind of hat. And so our thought is, why pay for something that isn't going to stay shaped, isn't customized? You don't really get to pick out anything. It's just off the wall and it looks like everybody else. Why don't we offer somebody the ability to create, if they look at it as a souvenir, it's a one-of-a-kind souvenir that they pick out every piece of it. And it's like you're walking away with something other than a shot glass or a T-shirt. You're walking away with a custom hat that you can continue to wear for years to come.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, let's talk about the experience. So actually, before we talk about the experience, because I kind of want to tee this up even a little bit. I want to learn a little bit more about you. Okay. So when you went in and you saw the design, and when you saw that they were starting to build the show store, the flagship store, right? I mean, what were different elements that they were adding to this storefront? Because I've seen it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, I got kind of the lookbook, the style guide, right, when I was hired, and kind of looking into what we wanted the store to look like, what I was kind of going to channel with my outfits and what I was going to channel with my personality. And just each piece came together so wonderfully. April Tomlin Interiors is who designed our store. And when you walk in our store, you're immediately like amazed. It's so
all the
beautifully
hats on
done.
the wall.
All the hats on the wall, all just the displays, the way our leather jackets hang, the way our bar says Rustler, the marble, the granite, all that kind of stuff. Every little piece was so thoughtfully curated in it that when you walk in, it's like, wow, even if there wasn't a hat on the shelf, just the store is gorgeous. And so being able to see each piece come together, and now a little over a year into it, we're making renovations and already like adjusting our store flow because of the traffic that we've had. So it's fun to now, I wasn't necessarily a part of every piece of design to begin with, but now I've been able to kind of be a part of these new installations that we're adding. And that's cool to see, okay, we're already doing this well. How can we improve and even facilitate more people coming into our store? And so it's been really cool to be a part of like, hey, this actually looks good. We just had a meeting this week about, hey, what if we did this differently in here? We got some new fabric. We're like, oh, well, why don't we make our private room this way and our showroom this way? And just finding new ways to incorporate stuff. We're always adjusting the displays, whether it's how many hats we have displayed, how many like fun trucker hats, how many jackets, the different shirts. It's kind of always changing. So you can come into Rustler Hat Co. one day, you come in a month or two later, it's
completely
changed.
different. And not only that, it's completely different from what you guys are able to provide too, because I'd assume that things are selling out. They're selling out quick. And then not only that, it's what I love about when I walked into your storefront is that the bar. When I think about one of one custom items, right? I don't necessarily see it made in front of you. I don't necessarily see all these elements that you're able to add onto these amazing hats already. And I mean, just talk about that idea of the bar, that someone, when they walk into this storefront, so to let you guys know, you open up the doors and the first thing you see is the bar. I mean that, and so I understand what you mean by the flow of things, because that bar takes up probably half of the entrance by itself. But for people that are just walking on the side of the Gulch, they see this amazing bar. And from there, I mean, talk about just how important that bar is for the business.
So I think that what we're selling more so than even our hats is what you're touching on, that experience. And so we want it to be from the moment you step into those doors, you're greeted. We even created a new kind of greeter / guide for the store position where somebody's right there, right when you walk in, you're greeted, you're introduced to our brand, kind of what we do, what we're offering. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming, honestly. Our store has, tall ceilings. It's like, whoa, what did I just walk into? And so we like to give people like a few minutes to just take it all in and then go in to what we offer. And so that bar acts as that first point of entrance. And that's with that thoughtful design. We catch their eye immediately with the fabric background, with the Rustler spelled out, with the beautiful bar top. Like everything is thought out to like what's going to grab your attention. And walking past, you're like, wait, what is that? The amount of people we have, like we say we're in a fishbowl or like a snow globe. People's like put their face up to it and they're like, wait, what's that? I'm like, no, come on in, like come take a look, because I just know as soon as they walk in there, I'm like, whoa, what is this? How do I get started on this?
And not only that, you guys have some of the best, I wouldn't call them salespeople, but you guys have some of the best people to meet right out the gate. And that goes to a testament to Alex and yourself that are able to hire these people that it doesn't feel like I'm going, like I can walk in there, look around, try on some hats and just try on some clothes. And I don't feel pressured there at all. And when you think about the Gulch, where people are constantly waiting in lines, there's Lululemon down the street where it's all just very much, it's an experience. You're absolutely right. And then you also talked a little bit about the private room. Talk about a little bit about the private room. Okay,
so in our original design thoughts, we had this, and this is again the construction that we've already done. This is our second major renovation. When we first built the store, we had a private room completely blocked off. All you could see in was through a little glass window, and the wall was closed off. And it was thought if we had any celebrities in and they didn't want to be in the main showroom, they could go back there. If we hosted any parties or gatherings, we can put them back there so they kind of have their own space that they can celebrate or just be together. And that was kind of that first thought, is like, oh, we're going to be shuffling a lot of people back there. Well, we realized, like as busy as we were becoming, maybe having something completely blocked off isn't our best move. We want people love to be a part of the showroom. We noticed that our parties that were back there would kind of flow back out to the main room, because that's where the
action's going.
That's where they are seeing everything. That's where we're having a lot of fun. We still had music in there, but just the atmosphere that people have brought into the store, they wanted to experience.
It feels like
that.
Nashville.
Yeah. And so
keep going.
It's like a little bar, like we thought it was going to be really good for us, but we're like, wait, we kind of need to open this up. As much as our customers are flowing in and out of it, even in these parties, they still want to be in the action. And so that's when we added our first bar in the back and cut out a little opening. And that was game changer. That helped facilitate so much better like movement and flow through the store. The private areas still could be private because we had curtains to close it if they wanted, but they could still watch everything happening. And if you were with a group of 5 and you were that 6th person not getting a hat, but you were a part of the party, you could still enjoy every aspect of it, because you could see what everyone else is creating, what your group's creating. And so now the last 2 weeks, we actually are opening up a second bar in that same area, can still be closed off, but just allows so much more open engagement with our customers, with each other. Our customers start becoming friends while they're in the store. They'll be like, hey, like, I don't really know you, but what do you think of my hat? And we've got people collaborating, same with our staff. So it's fun, and it'll be awesome that our staff and customers can collaborate across this bar into our showroom and just facilitate a really open, moving and flowing storefront. Even though like our storefront isn't the biggest, we're making it feel bigger and allowing people to have actual room to sit and enjoy and really focus in on what they're creating and not feel so congested or anything like that.
I love the thoughtfulness behind it. I mean, when you think about just your regular house, right? When you think about your regular house, what's the one thing that when you walked into the studio today, what's the one thing that we gravitated to? And that's not necessarily the bar, but like the what do you cook on? I forgot
like
the
the
name.
island, or like
island. Thank you.
That midpoint.
Exactly, that midpoint. And even at a bar, when you go to your favorite honky tonk, right? Let's go back to Texas, right? When we go into our favorite place to go drink or whatever, it's always around a bar. It's around that center thing. And then if you go to some two-stepping places, they have the bar in the middle and the 2 steps around it. Not a lot of y'all in Nashville go to two-step. I mean, let's be honest here, but we're actually from Texas. We know what we're talking about. That's a big thing over there.
Yeah, it's very big.
And was it kind of weird moving to Nashville and noticing that, two-stepping necessarily isn't the thing here?
Yes, I was a little bit surprised. What I did like about Nashville is that it did remind me of home, and it did have Fort Worth characteristics with the country music emphasis and everything. But it was surprising because I think back at home, bars are really big on dancing, and there's only a few places here. They're great, the ones that they offer, but I just thought I would see a few more places to dance.
And you know what you see the most of here? You see the look, though. You see your customer, the people that you are advertising to, they have the look. You are absolutely right. Spot on. When you think of Nashville, you're not only thinking about country music, and if you're from Nashville, you're thinking about the batch parties. You're thinking about the bachelorette parties coming in with their, I don't even have to say it. What do they look like? What does a typical bachelorette party look like?
They've got the matching shirts, the matching hats, matching pink cowboy hats, glitter, sequins, sparkles, brides in white, might do, pink and black. We've got patterns, we've got cow print, we've got zebra, we've got it all.
Exactly. And that's the one thing about Nashville that we can all associate to, and in the Gulch especially. So what you guys are providing, you guys aren't only providing just amazing, clothing. You guys are providing exactly what you said, an experience that they're going to last a lifetime, because they walk out and they say, I am tired of this plastic pink hat.
Exactly. I
want something that I'm going to think about Nashville forever. And then they start designing and start looking at all the stuff you got. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny when the bachelorette parties come in, they're like, oh yeah, I have this hat, but I think I'm going to make one. Like, I think I'm just going to do one here instead of my pink hat from Hobby Lobby's great, but I think a Rustler hat would be better.
All right, Stormi. So the questions that people want to know.
Okay,
now I'm gonna have people ask you specific questions, actually, that have your name on it as well, not just Rustler. All right, but what is some of your favorite designs you've ever seen come out of the Rustler Hat Co?
We've had some pretty cool ones. One of my favorites that we do is pretty unique to Rustler, and we haven't seen it with other hat companies. We call it our crisscross. It's one of our crown shapes. And so typically people come in, we have like 2 of our main shapes, a teardrop and then like a cattleman I'm wearing that right now. It's a pretty classic cowboy look. Where our crisscross is kind of a hybrid of a teardrop and what we call a telescope. And that telescope shape is one that's like a pretty flat top. It's rounded, so it kind of looks like a flat top hat. But when you look at it from a top view, you see that circle. Well,
like the brunch hat.
Yes.
Right? So
yes, very much.
What did you name it? You named it a second ago
the crisscross.
The crisscross. So think of just like what you see at your favorite brunches. Hampton Socials and those hats. Okay, keep going.
And so we've been able to create it reminds me of that game when you go to an arcade and you hold onto the handles and it's like a little mountain and you're trying to get the ball down the mountain without it flying off each side.
Yes.
I always equivalent this where it's just like a little crisscross.
I've never thought of it that way. You're absolutely right.
If you come in the store and you see this design, you're like, wow, Stormi, that totally makes sense. I totally get what you're saying. So it's just something unique and I like it because again, you're not going to see it everywhere. It looks really good in a flat brim shape. A lot of our customers have been like, wow, I have so many regular hats. I want that. You know, I just think it's something to set us apart. Also, you can't go wrong with a classic cowboy look. I love my cowboy hats. I only have one flat brim hat. I'm a cowgirl at heart. Even if I wasn't that country at home, I love wearing one. It makes me feel cool. I feel like it fits the Rustler vibe. And some of our cool designs have been, we have some very artistic people in the store. I'm not necessarily one of them, but I can try to be sometimes. And we have this wood burning pin, and we have two employees, Ashton and Karina, that are some of the most artistic people I've ever met. And the things that they have been able to draw and like burn into these hats is incredible. Karina did this awesome piece where it was like Guns N' Roses. It literally had a pistol and some roses on this beautiful buckskin cowboy hat. Ashton just the other day did one on a crisscross hat where she drew a bull skull with prickly pear cactus around it. And it's so cool to see because our customers at that time, like she came in with a very specific idea. She goes, my older brother had this hanging in his room my whole entire life. Like this is like kind of paying homage to him. And like these prickly pear cactus, I had them growing up in my backyard all the time. So this little design means a lot to me. When we finished it, she was squealing with joy. And it's so fun to be able to be a part of creating that for someone and knowing how much, like even if it's like crazy to us and we're like, oh man, it's going to take us a second. It means so much to them. And that's one of my favorite parts about what we're able to create.
Yeah, you're able to create one-of-one pieces. Not only one-of-one pieces, you're also able to create just things that have significance.
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's talk about your significance. Let's talk about like what would you put yourself, Stormi, what would you put on a brand new hat? So obviously you already said you're not picking your typical crisscross, your design, or as I say, the brunch hat. You're going to go straight cowgirl. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with it because you know what's weird about Nashville? The one thing that the viewers may not know this is that you don't see too much cowgirl hats.
Nope.
You don't see it. But when you see it, you're thinking two things. If you're local, you're saying, okay, they sing or just like, damn, they just look fashionable. They look like how I want to look. So let's put your hat on. You got just the regular cowgirl hat. What are you going to make out of scratch?
I will always have some kind of lightning bolt. So my name being Stormi, I have a special thing with lightning bolts. I have a tattoo right here. So I put lightning bolts on my hats. I actually am a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and I also love the Titans now that I'm here.
Finally, we have another one among us.
And so I got this navy cowboy hat because it's like I can wear it to Titans games. I can wear it when the Cowboys play the Titans. And so I did that. And so I'm thinking either one of our girls is the biggest Titans fan of all time. She has Tighten Up on hers. I might have to put like Tighten Up, Go Boys, something on there.
Well, you know what they say. Definitely. They say Go Tits, which is so funny here.
I know.
Not used to
she has a tits up hat too. So so that's definitely going to include something to home. I have it branded Texas on it, of course. Shout out hometown.
Shout out to Texas.
Yeah. And then I love a feather on it. And the good thing about our hats is that nothing's permanent except that branding. So me being an employee at Rustler Hat Co, I change my hat to match my outfit all the time. I hand it off to some of our girls. Like, hey, like you guys are the cutest things. You guys create all the cool stuff. Please make my hat match my outfit today.
Well, I mean, that is something that I was just about to speak on, is that when you think about the hats here in Nashville and when you think about your company, it's just how important hats have to go with the overall look. It's not just as simple. I mean, there are some people that can rock a hat and just has nothing to do with their outfit. But when you think about a hat that is custom, it's going to be expensive. But what it is, it's that when you think of that hat, we want to think of you making it. Yeah. So I think it's amazing that you would add that little, I'm My gosh, the lightning bolt. I think that's so cool. Now, talk to me about how the hats that you guys create, how sometimes they can go a little overboard. That has to happen.
Yes, we have had some customers do some pretty, not necessarily like, there's never anything wrong.
Yeah, it's your own design.
Yes, exactly. And if they are dead set on these things, like, okay, let's go with it. But we have had some eccentric customers do some pretty crazy things. We've had to brand some questionable phrasing.
Of course.
Maybe a few cuss words here and there. One day my boss was in while I was doing it, and she's like, yeah, if they tag us, we just won't re-roast that or anything like that. Oh. But it's a lot of fun because you can brand some of the funniest things. And we've had one lady where she had feathers all over this thing. I mean, she had a whole bird on the side, but she loved it. And it was like, as long as it makes them happy, makes me happy.
Well, you know, speaking about branding, speaking about just posting and tagging, I mean, you guys have one of the most coolest like social media presence there is, especially in the custom hat game. You guys are all over the place. You guys are on TikTok. You guys are on social media from Instagram. I mean, it's really kind of, when you think of Nashville, when you think of the Gulch, I honestly will see, and I'll scroll through, I will see your company there. I mean, does that make you pretty proud to know that so many people are so proud of these hats?
Yes.
That they're posting them all over social media?
Nothing makes me more happy than when I get notifications from our Instagram saying so-and-so tagged you in a post. And even especially when I recognize them, I'm like, oh wait, I worked with them. And like, I see their post, whether they're wearing it in Nashville or even the best part is when you know they went home or they went on another trip and they brought their hat with them. And our social media manager, Christine, is fantastic. The engagement that she's created with our posts, like we are getting so many comments, so many likes, the amount of times our posts are shared. It's incredible to see just that. And it's all been organic growth. We've never created we don't have a collaboration with anyone. We don't have any partnerships. It's just been by like word of mouth or like people posting and sharing on Instagram. We've had awesome events with big time influencers on Instagram. And I think that has just been so cool to see, knowing when that Instagram account was created to where we are now, and just over like a year and a half from that creation is insane. And I'm very, very proud of the work that I've been able to like be a part of, but also like the amount of work and time and thoughtfulness that Christine's put into what we're posting, when we're posting, who we're posting, how we're posting, and really increasing that engagement of when people comment on our TikToks. She's really good about commenting back, making those people know like, hey, Rustler Hat Co saw your comment. Rustler Hat Co saw your TikTok. Rustler Hat Co saw your post and loved it. Like, we're all about, whenever somebody's leaving, we're like, hey, you post on social media, make sure you tag us. We want to share it, you know, and it's fun to be a part of that. And people get so excited when they're posted on our Instagram because we've got that large following. I'm like, when I post my stuff, I'm like tagging Rustler Hat Co. I'm like, hey, Rustler Hat Co, like, please post me, like repost me.
But that's the beauty about Nashville. I think Nashville is just that. It's not only engagement from visitors that are coming in, because you don't only cater to visitors. Let's be honest here. Yeah. You're thinking about the locals too. The locals like to look good too. We may not go to Broadway all the time, but when we do go out and we want to look good, there's nothing better than putting on a custom-made one-of-one hat, by the way. But so tell me about a pinch me moment. When did you have a pinch me moment where like, oh snap, did that really just happen? Or did I meet this person? Or did I just finally do an event with this person and put on this event? I mean, tell me a pinch me moment you've had working for Rustler Hat Co.
I think there's been a lot of pinch me moments, because when I first signed up, we were literally talking about, okay, you know, we can stay afloat and we can be successful if we sell 3 hats a day. And so I think it's more of a pinch me moment of like looking back as that when I was the first full-time person and the only person, like the only employee.
Shout out to that, yeah.
That thinking back to if we sell 3 hats and in one Saturday, I mean, it was one of our busiest times, we sold 133 in one single day. And I think that was kind of a pinch me, like, it was like, whoa, did we really just do that? And so
how early was that in the inception? That 130. What's been let's go to that. What's been the highest mark?
That was our in store. We've done where we've had a full day and an event after, like 150, 160 total throughout the day. But in one singular day in the store, 133. And we all were just kind of looking at each other like, is everyone's hands okay? Like, are we good? Like, did we really just do that?
Did we just do that?
Yeah, and so that's been kind of a pinch me moment. But one of the coolest moments is when Cole Hauser, Rip from Yellowstone, came in. He was in town for the awards ceremony, and I was really excited. I thought we were going to get to make him a hat, but he had brought one that he had custom from another shop and just needed reshaping. But it was so cool that because of the name we've been able to create in the in town and across.
Just established.
Yes, we have an established name that his wife called and said, hey, do you reshape? My husband needs this shaped. And I was like, oh, like she's going to bring it down. Nope. Cole Hauser walked right into the store and I got to work with him a little bit and reshape his hat. And we had a good conversation. It was just cool. It's like, whoa, like that's Rib. Like he's in our store.
Hold up.
I'm telling you, that's got to be one of the weird, like that's okay. So from you and me just talking, you can say, how many times have you walked into a store, honestly, walked into Publix, you name it, right? Kroger, and seen someone that has X amount of following, a bunch of people following. I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it everywhere. And living here, it's like these stars walk among us as us. And the coolest thing about it is that I don't think anyone really pays them any mind. I mean, but I'm guessing you must have seen a lot of those moments.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about Nashville, and something that I don't think people understand is how many celebrities, people of major followings, live in Nashville or have homes, mainstay homes in Nashville that are literally walking around every day. Half the time you don't even notice them. But I think it's a sign of respect that Nashville holds for people with a following or status. And I really enjoy it because when he walked in, no one treated him different. Some of our customers asked him like, hey, can I have a photo? But it was very low key. That's a lot of tourists that don't understand, but everyone that worked in the store that was local understood that, hey, he's just a regular person. And anytime any person or celebrity comes in our store, we treat them the same. I feel like that's kind of the unspoken rule of Nashville. And I really appreciate that and they appreciate it. I feel like it's their safe haven. Like they know they're coming to Nashville. They don't have to worry about paparazzi. They don't have to be worried about chased down by fans, anything. They kind of feel safe and welcome and treated like everyone else. They're just regular people that happen to have a really good TV show.
Man, a long time ago, years back, I worked at True Religion before it was sold at Walmart. I cannot believe True Religion sold at Walmart, but I worked at True Religion in San Antonio, Texas, and this is when it was hot, right? So, and that's when jeans at True Religion were from $200 to $400 a pop, right? And it was so cool because this is how I'm trying to remember, like trying to put my mindset in how you are today, right? When you meet these people that come in, first of all, it's crazy. And I remember at True Religion, it was very much commission based, right? So, you know, the people, there was rules within it, right? Of who gets what and whatever, right? But the coolest thing about it was when you see these actors, performance, musicians, you name it, right? Everyone, they really just like to be treated like everyone else. And to them, they're not who we think they are. So I can only imagine the amount of times that you've just had a conversation with, like, name someone else that you've had just a conversation with, and you're like, dude, I would go grab a drink with you and just chill with you. Yeah.
Cole Swindell came in, and he was like a really chill guy. We were actually both sitting at the bar in the store while his girlfriend was getting some stuff and getting a hat made. We were just talking like just friends. No, we didn't talk about anything that he did, anything. Yeah. He was asking me about what I did, how Rustler got here. He was really curious about what we did here, how we got here. And, you know, he was really impressed with everything. And that was just cool because obviously anywhere else I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's Cole Swindell. But it was, we literally just hung out, chit chatted, and it was an easy conversation. It's like, wow, like if you walked across the street to the pub and grabbed a beer, I'd grab one with you.
Exactly. Well, okay. Now let's talk about these people. I got to stop saying these people. I'm going to cut that out. Anyway, so let's talk about influencers. So as we're realizing, and even in the heart of the Gulch, we're realizing that there are a lot of influencers, and influencers have a lot of power. So talk about the business model from the Rustler Hat Co perspective. Okay. So for an influencer, do you guys do sponsorships and work with these, you know, new trending people that may not be a Cole, and that just may have a large following on TikTok or something? Do you guys work with these and create sponsorships and partnerships?
So because we're still pretty new and the way our demand has just organically grown, we haven't created or generated any partnerships or collaborations yet, because right now we can't even keep up with organic demand for inventory. We've sold out a lot. Getting our hands on some things has been difficult, and that is the best problem to have. But I know moving forward, we do want to align ourselves with influencers and big names that kind of reflect what we are as a brand, who we would think represent the brand well, and be able to create that. But I mean, we've just been so...
You've been kicking ass, basically.
We've been trying, but we've been blessed enough that we've had, even if we can't, you know, sponsor them, give them free stuff or whatever, these influencers just want to come experience our store. So they just come in as regular people. It's not like we set up a time and they just come and enjoy what we have to offer. And that's been awesome because with their presence, they've still posted about us, which is awesome. And sometimes people won't, if they're not getting anything out of it. But we've been really, really lucky with all the people that have come in our store being more than willing to be like, hey, I'm at Rustler Hat Co. I don't care if I'm getting this, if I'm paying for the hat, like this is awesome and people need to come try this out. And so that has been like one of the biggest parts of our growth on Instagram is just natural progression of influencers. Like once they see one come in, they're like, oh wait, there was a huge influencer party and all of them came in for a launch of a clothing line. Well, before they went to the launch, they were coming in our store. We didn't ask them. I didn't know some of them. And I was like, wow, like you guys are great. Like, thanks for coming in. And then you look and it's like, oh, you have over 1 million followers and you posted about Rustler Hat Co. And now we've generated this much traffic on our Instagram. So that's been super, super cool for us.
And that's actually, I love that you said that because that was going to go to my next question. My next question is, Stormi, have you noticed now the power of the post, the @ the mention? Have you noticed that?
Yes. I mean, and even like on TikTok, we got posted in a video that went viral of someone making our hat, like making a hat in our store. And we gained, I want to say 8,000 to 9,000 TikTok followers in a matter of 12 hours, just because it hit people that we had never been able to reach. And so the power of social media is seriously the backbone of why we're growing, because the amount of people like, oh, how did you they come in the store? I'm like, hi, I'm Stormi, welcome in. We start chit chatting. I'm like, well, how did you find us? TikTok. I'd say we're the TikTok hat shop because we've had so many people.
It's more than that though. Let's be honest.
But we've had so much user generated content.
Yes.
That we've got files that we can post with, comment with, share, post on stories that we never saw coming. People are so willing to share their experiences in our store. Like, wow, shout out them. Like they're our marketing, they're our promotions, they're generating all this for us just because of the great experience they've had in the store. They are willing to share, and we could not thank them enough.
Isn't that crazy that, where we came from when we grew up, that word of mouth literally meant word of mouth, right? Now it's kind of word of post, and it's word of social media, and that is the new word of mouth. But in reality, what you guys are doing is you guys are putting on an experience. You guys are putting on something that is so Nashville that I'm wondering why the heck it wasn't here. Now, I want to know, Stormi, did you ever think about just how it may grow so big where you may not be able to have the you have so much clientele that your team may need to grow even bigger? Have you guys thought about growing into other markets?
Yes, that the amount of times we've been approached that, hey, we need a store here. We would love to open a store here. And we're like, we're only a year old and we don't even know what we're doing all the way, And so we're trying, our goal for 2023 is kind of like to never repeat anything. So we start setting up these processes. So if something needs to be done, we know how it's done. We don't have to backtrack and go back. And I think by establishing that and laying out really our business model, our processes, and having that, if we could write a Rustler Bible, this is how Rustler was created, this is what is expected in the store, then I think when we get to the point of where we have a better grip on, hey, if we were to move this store to another place, what do they need to know and how do they do it? Then I definitely think in the next year or two, you could see some expansion from Rustler Hat Co. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, Stormi, how have you? I'm so curious about this because we talked about how you've been in in front of cameras in other places, right? Not only inside of the Heart of the Gulch, which thank you so much for even coming to the Heart of the Gulch.
I appreciate it.
We love it.
Appreciate it a lot.
Now, you personally, have you had any media training by any chance?
I took some courses in communications in college, and I had I did journalism. And so we did some fake newscasts, and I was on a sports show in college, but that was a little while ago.
You do such a great job talking about Rustler Hat Co. And Alex must be so proud because, especially when she sees this, because you're able to just speak because it is it's your job, and it's not only your job, it almost seems like it's your life, and it probably is your life because you work so hard.
It has been for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. But you're able to just express and bring in the excitement. And you personally. And I think that's really dope. And I love that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we have a section called Crowd Noise. In Crowd Noise, we have people that called in and wanted to talk to you about Rustler Hat Co. You ready to
Perfect.
try it?
I'm excited.
All right. Well, last question before we go on to crowd noise. So you were talking about events, right? And how many events are happening around the city of Nashville, because it happens everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So does Rustler love to go to these areas that have events? And I mean, like, for one example is like, one area that has a lot of influencer presence would be the brand new Soho House in Wedgwood, Houston. Mm-hmm. Do you guys ever do events outside of the storefront to bring awareness to the name?
Well, actually, one of our key components of business and something that we've been growing is our offsite events. So it's not necessarily us popping up to gain attention, mm-hmm. but we do offer pop-ups for, the Nashville's like corporate convention conference central.
Yeah.
And so a lot of big companies bring meetings here. And so we've actually done quite a few pop-up events. We just did one at Opryland for a company where we bring all our hats. We bring basically a mobile store mm-hmm. and pop up and create these hats for guests, clients.
Is it that easy to do it?
It's not super easy, but we're starting to nail it down a little bit better. And I think our events run really smoothly. Our director of business operations, Rachel, is fantastic. And our assistant manager, another Rachel, both of them are very structured and organized and have got these events running so smoothly. Like, it is just an extension of the store, and probably the smoothest the store has ever run is how the events always run. And so we've been able to kind of find a good way of knowing how many hats we need to bring. We've kind of got a handle on it of, hey, you want to pop up for 250 people? Rustler Hat Co can do it. And so it's been fun. We did a party at 1230 Club. And so at the Bell Tower and at Lowe's Hotel. So we've done some pretty cool pop-ups. And I think that's something that in 2023 and 2024, we're really looking to keep expanding, and just knowing that, hey, if your group's coming to Nashville, you either have Rustler Hat Co come to you or you come to Rustler Hat Co.
Oh, I love that. Well, what's been your favorite? What's been your favorite event that you have done?
I really liked the event that we did at 1230 Club because I am a Broadway girl. As bad as that sounds, I know I'm local. I'm still new enough.
You're new enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use that as an excuse for the next 3 years.
But
it was fun we did it up at the rooftop. And so it was fun to be a part of that because I like where 1230 is situated. It's right out of the main strip of everything, so you're not in it, but you're still. Our view was amazing. We saw all down Broadway.
Broadway though,
Yeah.
I don't. So for the people that are watching this, they have no idea what we're talking about. So the 1230 Club is on Broad. What's the new Broadway spot called? It's called
Fifth and Broad.
Fifth and Broadway. So basically, there's a major street that crosses between Broadway and Fifth and Broadway, and in Fifth and Broadway have some amazing new pop-up items that are happening every day. You have the Nash collection that's there. Hit me back, by the way. And then also a bunch of places, like there's that brand new margarita bar that I got to celebrate my birthday with like a couple days ago, which was crazy. And 1230 Club has this amazing overlook of the entire Broadway area, like you were mentioning. But I don't think that's necessarily Broadway. So as a local now, I don't know. I go to 1230 Club for a Sunday brunch, to be honest with you. I don't walk into Jason Aldean's unless it's during the day.
Yeah, I like the 1230 Club is like an elevated Broadway experience.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so let's go. Speaking of an elevated experience, let's see what these people have to say in crowd noise. Let's go.
This question is for the Rustlers Hat Company. What has been one of the coolest pictures or places you have seen an individual wearing a Rustler's hat?
Ooh, that's a good one. Luckily, we've had quite a few. I know we've sent hats to England, Australia.
What?
I want to say Ireland. I've had customers from Jordan.
The Jordan?
Yes.
Oh, Jordan.
We're worldwide. And that's one of the coolest parts. We had talked about adding a map of where all our customers can say they've been, but we've been in national parks. A girl took a picture and we used it as one of our posts where she had the mountains in the background and her hat on in a metal horse trough tub thing, and had that. It was kind of like a Beth Dutton-esque shot. And so, I've seen them on mountains. I've seen them skiing. I've seen them at the beach, literally everywhere. So that's one of my favorite parts, is just seeing. It's almost like Flat Stanley when you were little, seeing where your hats end up.
Oh, I love that. And also talk about how Have you taken any pictures with your Rustler hat outside of the Nashville area?
Yes, I actually went home for family pictures for our Christmas card, and we needed some updated family photos, and both me, my sister, and my mom were all wearing Rustler hats in our photos, so that was fun. It was bringing it back home with me, fit right in. So it was perfect, good to go.
I think that's one thing about the Rustlers that I love the most, is that you see it so much with families and pictures and everywhere. Now, real quick, let's get down to the next question. I'm glad you liked that question, because I thought it was a pretty unique one as well. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, what's one place that you never think, before I go to the next question, what's one place you never thought you would see a Rustler hat?
That's tough. I saw it in New York City, like downtown New York City.
Ooh.
I was wearing one and my roommate was wearing one.
Hey.
So that, I mean, because you don't think, oh, it's like coming from Nashville, it's like a cowboy thing, but we've done a lot of cool like fashion flat brims. And I thought, and everyone, like everywhere we were walking in, you were like, oh my gosh, I love your hat. I love your hat. Like, where'd you get it? We're like, hey, come to Nashville. Like,
that's crazy. So I was researching not only Rustler Hat Company, I was researching you a little bit, and I saw that you were in New York City, and I originally thought that you may have been from New York City, and I was going to bring that up. But funny enough, 5 years ago, I went to New York. I've been since, but I was for Halloween weekend. And Halloween weekend, I didn't have any clothes that I didn't want to bring a costume in my overnight bag, right? So all I did is I brought, and this is when I was living in Texas at the time, I wore a cowboy hat with just a regular jean jacket, paired it up with, a Canadian tuxedo, and everyone complimented me because I was wearing a hat. So that goes to show you that Rustler Hat Company will get love all over the US.
Yes, that's the goal.
Well, yes. And last question I have when it comes to that is, if someone has a picture, someone has a Rustler hat in their bag right now, or they're thinking about buying one, what's the best way they can get on that social media repost? What do they have to do? What is the program? What should it be like?
We do repost a lot, but I mean, honestly, finding something unique. Like, we've had people show us, hey, this is where I've hung my hats. We had his and her hats. Just finding a way to make it unique. Hey, this is me in my Rustler hat on horseback in the snow. Just finding that unique piece, but also showcasing that you're having a good time in the store. I think any photo or video that shows the vibes and the fun that we have in the store, or the fun that they've had with their hats on, I think that's a big way to do it.
I love that. All right, let's go to the second question.
Hey, Rustler Hat Company. Do all your clients give you ideas, or sometimes you have to come up with the ideas yourself based off of them?
Some of our clients have
You're good.
kind of come in with ideas ready to go. They'll be like, I saw this photo, I want to create this exact hat. Or like, hey, I think this is what I'm going for. But more often than not, we also get creative freedom. And so that's fun. My favorite thing is if somebody's like, I am so overwhelmed, I have no idea where to start, I don't know anything I want in my hat. I'm like, okay, let's start with colors. What vibe we're going for. If we're going more of like a leather country, we're going more of like a soft fabric girly, and just kind of give me some ideas. And then I like to be able to put things together. And I think a lot of our employees also like that, to kind of get that. It's where you get to show your creative side. So it's like, oh, I like this color. I like the idea of maybe layering. I'm like, okay, let's go with the colors that you talked about. And like, let's see if I put something together. And the good thing about that is if I put something together they don't like, then we can work from there. It's like, okay, we didn't have any clue when we first started. Now we at least have an idea of what we want to move away from and kind of what we want to move forward
Absolutely. From. Okay, we got one last question. Let's see what it says here.
Stormi, where do you source all of your materials that you use to create each of your custom hats?
All over.
All over the United States.
Yes, I mean everywhere. That's why we were in New York. We were visiting like textile places and finding new patterns and different materials to bring in that we might not have had. We want more of. Our Alex and Rachel do a fantastic job of literally, like, if I have an idea, I'm like, oh, I think we should have a martini glass pin. Next day it's ordered. They find it. It's like
so
we've got some awesome vendors that we kind of have relationships with and that we've been able to create, and they've done a fantastic job at maintaining those of, hey, like, even if they don't have it, we've been able to kind of generate and like create really cool things. We've got some really cool stuff coming soon that is Rustler specific that is going to be completely unique to us. And I'm really excited to see how that all comes together, because again, being in the position that I'm in and where Rustler is, you get to see it from the very beginning. Like, you
Absolutely.
have this idea, you see samples, you see sketches, you see things, and then you get to see the actual
constantly
product.
building.
Yes, and you get to see that, and you get to hold the product. You're like, wow, you get to test the product. It's like, wow, we saw this from the very conception. Same with the store. I was able to see the very beginning of Rustler to what it is now.
Oh man, I loved all those answers. So thank you guys all coming in with those answers right there. I guess so. My last two questions is this. So we always do a part of the show called Walk the Line, right? Johnny Cash theme, right?
Yeah.
You got to keep it Nashville, right? And Walk the Line is where we film you doing your thing during the day. So it is the difference. So what makes us different in the heart of the Gulch is not only do we have this conversation, I get to go to your location, be a fly on the wall for the viewers to check it out. But I guess my last question to ask before we tee it up there is, 2023. What is one thing that you're looking, not only, I want to know what Rustlers Hat Company's looking forward to, and then I want to know what Stormi's looking forward to. But let's start with Rustler Hat 2023.
2023, Rustler Hat Co. might be available at another source or another place.
Ooh.
I'm not going to give anything away.
Got to.
But definitely something to keep an eye out and see what is coming new for us in that, whether it's going to be in Nashville, somewhere else, I don't know.
Okay, and just watch them on the Instagram handles, I'm guessing?
Yes, Instagram is definitely what we'll be releasing any new stuff that we've got coming, which is a lot. So again, like I talked about, we've sourced some new hat bands, some new hats for coming for the summer. Like we've got a lot of new tricks up our sleeve.
I love that. Okay, and then lastly, what about you?
I
am
am
looking forward to?
I'm excited for another summer in the Gulch. This January, February, the slower retail things, I love it because it allows us to kind of regroup, catch our breath. But I'm excited for our new bars to be installed. We're going to have 10 more seats located in our store. It's going to open up a lot more traffic, flow. Everything's going to be moving better. And I'm excited to see how well the new kind of initiatives that we've created in the store to facilitate that are going to work out.
Well, I mean, I can tell you one thing from moving from Texas, and you know exactly, well, you get a little bit better because you're up northern of Texas versus me who's southern Texas. It's one thing, my favorite thing about the heart of the Gulch perfectly is the changing of the leaves, fall time. Fall's my favorite time in Nashville, but I'm so sad that it's only about 3 to 4 weeks. And then Nashville, we have in the Gulch, we have those little trees, the little walkway trees.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It looks so pretty, and it's just, that's my favorite time of the year. So, but yeah, you won't find me in Old Hickory anytime this summer. That's just me though. But anyway, so the way we're gonna start this off is we're gonna go to the day in the life of Rustler Hat Co. Okay,
you got it.
And the way we start is you look straight into that camera right there. You state your name and talk about, say, a Rustler Hat Company, and then from there you say, "This is how I walk the line." All right.
Okay.
And I'm going to set you up with an applause, and then 3, 2, 1. And 3, 2, 1.
I'm Stormi Leonard from Rustler Hat Co. And this is how I walk the line.
Hey, let's go. And that, hey.
Hey, welcome to Rustler Hat Co. We are a custom hat bar, as you can see behind me. How about you guys come in and I'll show you around. Over here we have our hat display of everything that we have in store. We've got a few different lines of hats. So we've got it here on the bottom with our Wranglers, up here with our Aces. Our Grizzlies are like the one I'm wearing right now, and our Outlaw up there. We have a few different lines that we offer, and anything in this open crown shape we shape for you. So my hats start out in that open crown shape right up there. So we shape it up for you. You're welcome to try any of these colors and styles on just to see right over there in that mirror, see what color you like. When you find a color you like, we can move on and we can get you sized. So right here we have our branding irons, which is something that makes our company really unique. We've got all letters, numbers, tons of symbols, and all kinds of ways to customize your hat in these parts. We also have these little thread colors where you can add Roman numerals, hearts, designs, X's, anything that means anything to you can be added on your hat right here. Here we've got some of our feather choices and some of our fabric ties on these little handy dandy trees. So a lot of people like to layer these. We do several layers of these with some of our other bands to make it really unique. All right, here's our little gift area, sort of. We've got some gift bags, some different hats out here, our candles, which smell amazing. Over here, our handmade leather jackets that feel like butter. I would make a blanket out of this if I could. These are also custom made for our store too. We've got people always trying on their new creations. It looks fantastic. That's been custom shaped to her. So in Rustler Hat Co, we literally never slow down from the time that we get here to open to the time that we close, and sometimes after our closing hour. We're in here at all times working. I've got a great team here that makes my job really, really easy and makes the experience here special for everyone. Everyone does a great job at being personal and relatable with all of our customers. They come out knowing where we're from, why we're here in Nashville, how long we've been here, how we got started in hats, and we know the same about them, what they're doing in Nashville, where they're from. If they need any tips or recommendations for where to go, what to see, we offer that as well. So my team here is fantastic. They make it a lot of fun to work and make it a lot of fun for our customers as well. So we are a true custom hat bar. When you do purchase a hat, you get a drink with that. So we've got our bar top here, so it's not just a seating area. It's another way for us to engage with our customers. It's kind of like you are at a bar. We're the bartenders, but we're the hat makers. Ashton's over here. We've got our steamer set up, so it's really interactive with the customers picking out what they want, picking out their shape, adjusting that shape to be perfect for them. So this bar setup allows that to be really easy for us. All right, now that you've seen Rustler Hat Co, we'd love to have you back in. Weekdays are usually a little bit slower, but come springtime, summer, we always recommend making an appointment, but we accept walk-ins, and hopefully we'll always be busy, but come visit us when you're in Nashville. See you guys.